19 webinar. I love it. It is my favorite thing every year when we have new versions, and I say that as a customer. It was always exciting for me as a customer to see all the new functionality and things I could do with my Performance Navigator, Performance Management tool. It was awesome. So we've got a lot to cover, so we're going to begin. And get my mouse to work. Okay, so the agenda we're going to talk about, and I'm going to call this rapid fire. I think one of the things I'm proud of at being at MPG is we try to show you all the new functionality, and I can't think of too many vendors that do that, but there's a lot. So the good news is this is being recorded, so if you can't stand for the whole thing, I understand, and I just want you guys to know that it'll be on the website by the end of the day today. So we'll look at all the changes. I'll do a couple little demo things live, a lot of it is screenshot, but you'll get the feel for version 19. We'll talk about the version 19 documentation. We have some surprises there of what we've done with manual and the like. I've been asked to talk about the education offer. A lot of people, especially with a new version coming up, want education, and we have a really good offer for you guys to get the 2.5-day class. And we'll talk about capacity planning offerings just for folks that need to go to a new power box, what you can do there. And at the end, we'll do questions. So one of the things that I love about the product is I get very blessed that I get to do demos for folks. And I remember having a 45-minute demo with a potential customer. And after the demo, the sysadmin said, "Wow, your software works like I think." And I think that's the ultimate compliment. And you guys know this from using it. The program just works. It's, Joe's done such a brilliant job of designing Performance Navigator, and it's one of those things that it's always been our goal to make your day-to-day processes easier. And I know version 19 is going to continue that excellence. So we're really excited for you guys to look at version 19. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a performance management dashboard. I laugh because, hey, it only took 19 versions. We've had a lot of demand. People wanted a dashboard. We created a really cool, simple look and feel. We beta tested it all over the place, and users loved it. It supports multiple LPARs, up to 2, with multiple asks, and you can have as many LPARs as you want, 2 asks, to be clear. We've got great, as we always do, comprehensive drill down reporting and the highlights. Think about it this way: you can grade your core metrics just like you can with like enterprise performance overview, but the dashboard, you can define your own guidelines. It's going to automatically collect based on your collection services interval. So if you're 15, it'll do it every 15 minutes. If you're 5, it'll do 5, and so forth. It shows the last interval, and we put top job analysis built right into it, so you see exactly what's going on in your system. And we just give you a toggle button where you can toggle between a last 8 interval view or all intervals. And we put a peak interval analysis included in it. So if something you want to see what was your busiest time during the day, you can see that. And we do drill down for all metrics. Critical temp storage metrics for disk space. If you have disk, you'll see in a bit here, if you have disk space issues on the fly, you can figure out right away what's going on. And this is kind of neat. We put system task reporting in there, and I said informative reporting. So what does that mean? When we get that yellow, graph that comes up, like, what's all the system task stuff going on? It's kind of hard to know what all the system task is. We make it easy for you, so you can figure out, maybe you have to call IBM and say, hey, these system tasks are occurring on our box all the time. It's taking 30% of the box. We give you that information so you can, do your troubleshooting a lot easier. And of course, normal work disk status, subsystem reporting for the last interval. So anyway, just to show you the interface, very, very cool. Again, we show you, what collection services interval you are, and then we have a countdown clock to show you where you're at in the process. So just a simple drill down. If you clicked on CPU, you're going to get a neat picture where we show you the picture of the last 8 intervals. We show you the numbers behind it, and we show you top job analysis built right into it. So you always know where you're at when you drill down. If you clicked on all intervals, just to show you, and here's an example where we had midnight to 7:35, you know, the picture just changed to show you that. If you wanted, again, to drill down, hey, what was my busiest time? Look at this example. It was 4:05 a.m. and we show you not only the picture and how high the CPU went, look at this, we show you the peak jobs. So again, the dashboard's really great. Doesn't matter what metric you're looking at, CPU, you know, disk, memory. I mean, it's such a cool drill down. And like I said, the feedback we've had has been amazing. Like, hey, this helps us understand our, you know, what's the term I use all the time? Understand our systems at a deeper level. We're gonna see it here with this dashboard. I wanted to give a great real life example for this dashboard, and we've all had it when our disk is going right now. It's never a good thing, right? In this situation, life is good, right? Disk space is at 67%, and as you guys all know, the best practice guidelines 80% or lower. But what happens when this happens? Not a good thing, right? When this is going up, 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 and we know what can happen, your system's about to crash. Well, with the dashboard, you don't have to panic. If you have the dashboard going and your disk space goes red, you're going to be able to troubleshoot it very, very easily. I wanted to show everybody who knows how I teach in class, I love real life examples. I think they're the best teaching moments. And here are 2 email responses that I got this year, literally last month, where a customer's disk space was going up, 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 up. And, you know, we all know it's like NEM, it's a twister. We're all panicking in the operations room because you don't want your system. AS400s, IBMI systems don't crash, right? That's bad, right? So it was about to crash. So these customers used our current day disk space analysis to figure out the issue. And you can see here, it was very kind words that they gave us. What they ran, and I don't know if you guys know this, if you go under Power Analytics, you see how we have why is disk growing now, current day disk analysis. They ran that to save the day and stop the disk from growing. The great news for you guys is that that functionality is built right into the dashboard. So think about it. 2 things can cause it, the disk going up, right? Temp storage space is growing out of control, or someone is increasing the size of a file. Maybe they copied a file from test to prod and didn't know it, and they don't understand what they're doing to the system. So when you get that scenario, you can click on, like if it's going up, 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 your troubleshooting is going to be, look at the temp storage jobs. And what's great is we give you a nice comprehensive list of what temp storage is, you know, the jobs. Look at that, fully qualified job names, so you can kill a job. But look at that, we show you the temp storage. And if it's not a temp storage issue, you just go back and look at the jobs that are, you know, doing the I/O, that are banging the disk. So very, very simple flow. If you get you know, if your disk space goes red, you click on temp storage, you look at the report, and if it's not temp storage, you go back and look for big I/O users. By the way, that process of me doing that took under 10 seconds. So that's the peace of mind you guys need. And like I said, we have the real life experience of customers being able to get to that level of reporting to figure out and not crash their box. So just love that dashboard. You know, call us. It's all in the manual and everything. But if you have questions about the dashboard, you know, just let us know and we'll help you. All right, next, new and improved what's different analysis. I love this concept because we've got a new interface, a new kind of look and a feel, and a better way to drill down, very intuitive. And here's the example, right? If we had this before date and then you had an after date, you can see those 2 days look the same for the most part, except right there. And I can't tell you how many times I'm in class where the tech support manager or the CIO, there'll be an issue and they'll come in and say, come on guys, what's different? Well, that's the beauty of the what's different analysis. We can go in and figure it out. So the new and improved interface, the way I wanted to show you how good it is to show you at 18. And I liked 18, I helped create it, but we needed a better way. So in 18, we broke things down in a very color coordinated, you know, system specs, CPU, you know, memory, disk, and everything. And it was great. We had hyperlinks that you would click on, and you would drill down into a side-by-side view of the good day and the bad day, and you would get your metrics. And then we we'd make you press a back button arrow to a bookmark, and then you get in this cool job analysis, which again, people like this, and they'd click a hyperlink, and then you'd go and do top job analysis. Well, come on, there's got to be a better way. And as much as I liked and helped create the old way, wait till you see the new way. The new interface will now come up, and instead of having all the color coordinated, we just have one-stop shopping where all your metrics come up on one page. And then if you click on CPU, you get your nice side-by-side view, just like we did before. Notice here that we have, disk space CPU out of control, right? It grew 1,200%. So obviously something's different. Our job as system admins is to figure out what's different. Well, look at this, one mouse click. You click on top jobs, CPU, and look at how cool that is. We give you not only a summary at the top, in this case, look at that, 10 new jobs and 1 new system task occurred between the good day and the bad day, right? No more guessing, no more having a feeling. So not only do we do the summary, we give you down below a very cool inventory of the top jobs on the good day, top jobs on the bad day, and then we show you the percentage change difference. Love this stuff. You'll see we do this concept throughout the product, right? Why is disk growing, or top job analysis, or whatever. This concept just works, and people love it. And I solved so many issues in less than, I don't want, it sounds like I'm bragging, but less than 10 seconds just by going good day, bad day, boom. And it doesn't matter if you're looking at CPU, I/O, faulting. Think about it. Our job is to figure out what was different in those days. So you're gonna like this new what's different analysis. All right. So just to show you the flow, if you had the what's different report up, you'd click on any metric, you'd look at the reporting, just to look at the period that you're analyzing. You might be doing 8 to 5, or it could be noon to 2 or whatever, but you look at the side-by-side picture, and then you just click on top jobs and look at the report. And at any time you can click the findings report, go back to the starting point, and look at all core metrics. So very, very cool. All right, take a drink here. Thank you for the break. So here we go, new and improved ODBC top user analysis. So this is really cool. So what we have is we have the ability to identify what users are using the most resources on your box in ODBC. And we're going to look at CPU, faulting, I/O, and temp and permanent storage. And we're going to give you a neat way to toggle back and forth between a time interval, where you can see the ebb and flow of what's going on during the day, and a percentage pie chart, so you can understand what you're looking at on that time graph. And we allow you to select any day to analyze and any period. Again, 8 to 5, noon to 2, whatever. So here's a new look at the new report, and you can see here that at the top we give you all the buttons you can press. There's the big picture of what you're analyzing, and then we give you a table of what you're looking at. So I'm one of those guys that's, I'm a big picture person, but I also like that table where I can get a feel of what's going on. But with that said, sometimes when I look at an ebb and flow of a by time graph, like in this case, you can see 7 a.m. to, 11 o'clock at night, I like that you can click the pie chart button to get a feel for, when I'm looking at this by time data, here's the breakdown. So it was real easy. We can see that I on my Augusta system was doing the most, I was using the most CPU resources on that day, and you can see the breakdown. So imagine this, like I say, no more guessing. You can run this on any day, any time, and you'll know who are your top ODBC users. And think about it too, we default to CPU as it comes up, but you can click on faulting, I/O, sync I/O, async I/O, logic I/O, and temp and permanent storage. And we allow you, if you don't like the one-page feel, maybe your boss says, hey, give me the comprehensive report, we give you a button to click on, and all these pictures you're looking at will be in one report. So very, very slick way to understand your ODBC usage. And the good news, we have something that we just added already in version 19, and we did it on June 1st, is we had a request, and it's a good idea, for secure ODBC, SSL. So the same thing that you just saw before for you people doing secure ODBC, we show those users as well. I blocked them out here, but you get the point. All right, as we keep going, rapid fire. Improve current day memory pool allocation. So for memory is one of those concepts where it's, you know, it's kind of hard to understand your system. So what I love about our current day pool allocation is we inventory your pools and we know exactly what's going on. So when you have performance adjuster turned on and you just want to understand what's going on in memory, you can do that very easily in the product. Here's what version 18 looked like, and it was good. I liked it. We just changed the look and feel a little bit, but what we have is sortable columns. And you'll notice a flow in version 19. When you start bringing up reports, every column is now sortable. So, you know, there are people who like to look at things maybe alphabetically or by pool or whatever, and it's up to you what you can click on. And one of the things we did is when you click on a hyperlink and go into a pool, little different look and feel from the last time we made the JPEGs bigger and like, but what I love is we gave you a button that you can toggle back and forth between, here's memory allocation, how memories move around, and if I click on the button, there's my faulting. So you can see, you can switch back and forth between those very easily. In the old report, we had to go back to the report, then click on the other hyperlink. That's silly. Again, we're trying to make your job, not that that was hard before, which makes me laugh, but we're going to add even more efficiency where you can easily click back and forth. A new button in version 19 is right here that you can click on that button and understand your allocation for all your pools. So when you're measuring 8 to 5, you can say, okay, here's what basic like, here's interactive, here's machine pool, here's my share pool 1, share pool 2, whatever. So very, very cool that not only do we show you the ebb and flow of what the performance adjuster is doing, we show you all the pools in the breakdown as well. Okay, now this one makes me laugh. As someone that's used the product for 1 billion years and taught the product for 1 billion years, I always get asked the question, what's a sync IO? And anybody that's been in my class knows synchronous IOs are your, you know, they're kind of like your bad IOs because everything stops dead in its tracks until they're satisfied. Async IO, you know, just happens and everything can keep going. But what we did, and I thought about this, and it's good to know sync IOs and async IOs, but sometimes we just want to know total IOs. So what we did in version 19 is we put total IOs in all our reports. So for example, if you just want to understand, you know, I don't care about sync IO or async, well, see what we did? We just put them together. So, you know, we're adding sync and async up, but for you to be able to do, if you're just trying to do an IO analysis, oh, maybe something like this happened. Wow, my IOs went way up, right? Great real life example. And say with me, little bar, little bar, little bar, oh, big bar. Well, what do? Well, in version 19, we can now compare days. You can see here we set our before date, right, is the Wednesday the 23rd, so that's my good day. My bad day is May 30th, and if I go back here, see how it's actually it should have been April 30, but you get the point. I set my days, but look at this. When we go in, we can now look at top job analysis, physical IOs, and boom, we now get a report. So as I did my screenshot wrong, it should be April 23rd to April 30th. That's okay. You get the point. Notice we have top jobs on 4/23, top jobs on 4/30, and look at that. New job, and look at that. Look at all the new system tasks. So very, very powerful that you can now look at total IOs and you don't have to worry about it being sync or async. All right. Next, improve before versus after job weight bucket analysis. Ooh, that sounds technical. As you guys know, we have job weight analysis built into PerfNav, just like iDoctor. And I love iDoctor, but you guys have heard me say it a million times. PerfNav and iDoctor are perfect complement products, right? We can use them both. I say it all the time that when you build a house, you don't build it with one tool. iDoctor has a point where it can go down to such a deep level, but PerfNav has a level we can get down to the job weights, and sometimes that's all you need. Oh, I'm waiting on CPU queuing, or I'm waiting on journaling, right? That's important. It may be a starting point to get to eye doctor. You don't know. I've had many times where I've used job weight analysis, and that was enough to open up a PMR and do whatever. So anyway, we can now, one of the things we did in version 19 is we can now sort in descending order the weights. And I know that was a big thing. We used to do it before just in alphabetical order. Well, now we can sort by big to small. And we added a new concept where you can do day versus day job analysis, or you can do a single day analysis, and maybe you have a job where you're splitting the trend line and you were going to say, how's the job profile look, at the start of the job, and what are we looking at the end of the job? So I'll give you two examples here. So my single day where we split, like here I'm looking between 2 a.m. and 3:15, and then 3:55 to 5:15, you can actually see here that you get your job weights on your split time on the left, and then on the other side, you can see there. And notice what we're doing. We're comparing the wait times before and after and showing you the percentage of change. Very, very cool. And again, you can sort on any one of those columns, by the way. And here's an example where we did a day versus day analysis, where I looked at 423 versus 424, and then maybe you made a change, right? Great real life example. We were journaling a lot, and we turned on journal caching, and you wanted to see, the difference between the weights. So there you go. You can see on how easy it is to compare 2 days. So again, new day versus day split trend line capability, and you can sort the columns. And you can see that right here, where I've sorted this column right here, you can see it. Okay, and we also have the percentage of weight that I think I sorted on that. So anyway, you get the point. All right, before versus after, this is new top user comparisons and accounting codes. Now I know a lot of people may not use accounting codes, but I'm a big data guy. If you got the data and you've been collecting it for years, you might as well use it. So we have this ability for top user comparisons. Remember, everything we've done up to this point is the top jobs, where now you can do user and accounting code, where you're looking at day versus day comparisons. And we're going to introduce something in 19 in a bit, another slide, month versus month comparisons. Pretty cool new stuff, and we'll show you how you can do that. Just to show you, here's an example of a day versus day comparison. We're looking at transactions, and you can see here, we don't have a billion users like you guys, but you can see here we're just comparing the first to the second, same look and feel, where we have a pie chart back and forth, or on both sides, and then we do the numbers at the bottom. And here's a month versus month comparison. So notice now we're comparing April, and you can see you can do it either way. It doesn't have to be before, it doesn't have to truly be before. I'm comparing April 28 to March 2018. So you can do it any way you want. All right, new and improved service level analysis as we continue our rapid fire. Pretty cool. The version 18 was just a real simple green, yellow, red, where we looked at machine pool faulting, response time, and disk arm. What we did in 19 is we measure all core components again, and we do a heat map concept where we show you levels of good, as I call it, more granularity. And for the first time, we're doing multiple asks for disk stuff. So if you have a multiple ask environment, we don't do just we used to just do ask one. Now we do everything. And we're introducing something called a miss rate percentage, which is just a fancy way to say how much are you missing your guideline. So it's going to point out areas of concern that we need to fix. So here's an example of a one ask, single ask concept. You can see we're looking at memory, response, and disk. You see my levels of good, right? Dark green is like an A+, and then A, and so forth, A-, and you get the point here, where we're going to kind of get you down to a really granular level to understand how good are you really hitting your service levels. So there you go. You can see at the bottom the significantly missing the best practice guideline, and we show the miss rate percentage. So in this box, we can see we have an issue with disk response time. Next example, here's a multiple ask scenario, and you can see down below we show ask one and then your other ask. So again, very, very cool. new functionality which you can get down to a little better level as far as your service levels. Okay. New top interactive users, response time service level analysis. This is in version 18. We simply made a pie chart, which is cool, and we've just broken. This is kind of like the old component report back in the old days where I call them buckets, response time buckets, where you'd see how much you're under half a second, and we'd show you how much you're up to a second and so forth. So green was good, yellow was warning, and then when you got to orange and red, mayday. And then we pie chart the whole thing, and it was good. People liked it, but we can be better. So in 19, we made it better. So what we did is one of the things, we now can analyze any collection service day or time. So you can point back, 3 days and do whatever day you want. And you can say, I want to do 8 to 5, midnight to 2, or whatever. You can get down to a very cool level. But we're also going to show you the top interactive users for that period. And again, we're going to give you a button to look at the pie chart view so you can understand what you're seeing. So here's the new look and feel. You can see that we have, you can see that in this case we have a pie chart view, and you can see over here pie chart view. Then you have the table of the top users, and then down below we have the normal breakdown with the service levels. And you can see that you can click back and forth between the time view where you can see the ebb and flow. You can see in this graph we're around 8 a.m. when people start to come in. Of course, that's when we're getting our interactive users. So very, very cool. Same thing as before, but we just give you more information to really understand what you're looking at. All right. I know I'm going fast, but I just want to show you all this stuff. New enterprise disk space analysis. This is awesome. So for all of us that want to understand disk space, we all have to usually go about one system at a time. Well, in version 19, it's just amazing what we've done. So in 18, I don't know if you guys remember the old enterprise performance overview. We went in there, and this is where you could define your enterprise, and we looked at every serial number and every LPAR, but we had disk space analysis built right into that. Well, in 19, we changed that, in late 18, we changed that to disk response time. And the reason why we did that is if you look at the title of this report, it's Enterprise Performance Overview. Disk space really isn't a performance metric, right? So that's why we took it out of there. In version 19, again, you're going to go to the Navigator panel and you'll click on all your, just do your Windows, shift and define your enterprise any way you want, or hold and click, control click, and define it in your systems. You might go all my prods or all my West Coast boxes or whatever. You get to deem your own enterprise. But when you do, we're going to show you all those selected frames and all this, the serial numbers and all your LPARs. And this supports multiple ASP. In the old report, we had this other ASP thing where we actually combined all your ASP together. In this report, we show you every single ASP. People I know are going to love that because now you can get down to, whatever ASP you want and figure out, your disk space issues. And we're going to show you installed disk metrics for your current month, how much installed disk you have. And we'll show you current trends, kind of like we did before with a hyperlink that you can drill down. And again, you can define your SLAs. The best practice guideline is 80%, but if you want to change that, you can do that. And this, I always say this is just showing off. We're going to actually show you, based on the current trend, get this, the exact date and time when you're going to reach your SLA. Come on, that's cool. So here's the report. Again, we're showing you that, multiple frames. We're showing you there's your LPARs, and then we're showing you, we show you there's an example on this particular frame on that LPAR. Look how they have ASP1 and ASP2. So that's the level you can get to. Frame, LPAR, and then how many ASP, for each LPAR. So very, very cool. We show you the installed disk for the current month. We always default to the previous month. We show you the usage. You can see those are hyperlinks, and you can see things are graded, green, yellow, red. There's the trends where you'll click into and see here in this example, obviously disk space is growing, it's in the red. But look at this. So this is in the green, But look at how we say, hey, based on the current trend, you're going to reach in 374 days and that date and that time, you're gonna hit your guideline. That's just showing off. But no more guessing, no more having a feeling. Based on that current trend, based on that growth, right? We're going to be able to show you when you're going to get there. All right. So with that said, why is disk space growing? So everybody loves, and I've heard this, such a fun thing to hear when I'm at sites, people love our normal why is disk growing historically concept. People didn't even realize we had it built into the product. In version 18, right, we had the side-by-side top library thing where we show you the top libraries for your before date, the top libraries for your after date, and we show you, the comparison, either growth or new libraries or whatever, or libraries that maybe you cleaned up and declined. In version 19, little different look and feel, but the columns, first of all, we put row numbers in all our reports. That's one thing you'll notice in version 19. So it's easy. You can if you're showing the report to someone, you can say, look at row 7 or whatever, and you can go from there. But we added the number of objects in the report. So before we were just looking at size and percentage of total disk. Now we put the number of objects, and we can double click and we can sort on all of our output now. So when you start to see your version 19, you get freeform where you can sort on anything, alphabetical order, number of objects, you can do it. Improved, why is the library growing? So the natural thing would be here, if we found a library that was out of control, now we go to the next step and we understand why the library is growing. And we, in version 19, when you bring up this script, you now have the ability, before you had to type in the library name in 18, now you're going to have a list where you can select from all your libraries. So very, very cool. The first, you'll just get a little note that says, hey, you're going to have a list below. Now pick your library, hit OK, and boom, you get your report. So again, very, very same look and feel where you can sort or whatever, but we just made it a little easier. So if you type like I do, you can just grab it from a list. All right, and as long as we're on disk, we added new IFS analysis for top directories and streams. Look how cool this is, the new top 50 report, and we showed trends built right into the report too. So here's an example where I'm doing an IFS top directory analysis, and you can see here trends right at the top, and we grade them green, yellow, and red, and we do the same thing for stream files. So again, managing disk, you guys know this, it's kind of a pain, but boy, we make it easy for you with all the new disk stuff, and now you IFS to me is one of the hidden things that you need to understand at a deeper level, and now with all this new version 19 stuff, you can do it. Okay. So, and there you go, there's another example where see how the stream files are growing out of control, and we show it in the red. All right, new historical memory analysis. So, new format. In version 18, it was kind of a canned report. I call it predefined trend criteria, where it would look at the last year kind of thing. But I was at enough classes and conferences where people said, man, I wish I could define my own trends. And we did that in 19. So when you run the historical memory analysis, we'll ask you what kind of trend you want to do, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and you click on that. And then we tell you, okay, it's your data. You have all this cool data. You want 3 months, but what do you want to see? Do you want to see it by days, by weeks, by months? So very, very flexible. So you can imagine how many different views you can do based on those options available. So just to show you some examples, here is the new format where we're showing a 6-month trend by month view, right? So you can see the 6 months, and we show you buttons at the top where you can just simply go from machine pool faulting, faulting factor percentage, or total faults. And again, you see the all metrics in one report if you want everything. And then you can click a pie chart view to get this new SLA view. So instead of looking at total faults like we did before, watch this. With one mouse click, it automatically goes over to a service level view. so you can see how much you're hitting your service levels. So just to show you that again, here's my machine pool faulting. Boom, here's the SLA. We show you in this case, we're doing a 6-month trend by month view. And you can see we heat map it kind of like we did before, dark green, light green, and so forth. All right, just to show you, here's another example where we did a 3-month trend by days. So those are days, 3 months of days. And there's the SLA view. So, and it's shown by weeks. So very, very flexible. I mean, you guys get to choose the kind of report you want to see. You know, like some people like by months, some people like by weeks, some people like to see, look at all my days. You're now in control of the analysis. All right, monthly response time by user group. Now, I've been to enough sites where people have carved up like user groups, and you know, here's OE, here's accounting, here's warehouse. Kind of a neat thing that now you can actually measure your SLAs by your functional groups. Here I got a group called View Group 1, and you can see now instead of looking at everybody on response time, you now can get very granular and carve up your end user community, and you can see their service levels. So not only can you do SLAs, but you can see trends as well. So may not be for everybody, but for people that, one of the things that I really liked when I was at Boise Cascade and Office Max, and I think it's Office People now, it was neat to be able to carve up the whole, functional area. So you knew if you had an issue, oh, it's the warehouse team that's having an issue, so you can get very, very granular and troubleshoot easier. Okay, new concept, setting before versus after month. All right, so we've had for years day versus day concept, and people love it. It's so cool. But let me tell you why before versus after monthly comparisons matter. So now we have the concept of saying, what do we look like in January versus May? So I always say this, you guys know this, I've taught this at Common, and it was well received, that understanding the impact of change is kind of the essence of what systems guys do, right? We're asked to prove what's going on. So we all know that what are things that can change in our environment, right? New hardware, we've added memory, we've got an application change, we changed performance adjuster, so many things. So our job is to understand the impact. So my example is, instead of kind of guessing the impact of like an application change, you can measure core application metrics month to month. My real life example, I was at a site, really, really great person, team I trained up in Rochester, and they had IBM Lotus Notes, instant messaging same time, and they did an upgrade in January, and the person said, I have a feeling that affected my CPU negatively. What can I do? First of all, brilliant question. That's the way we should think. But what will we do, right? We would want to analyze the impact of that upgrade. So what we did is we did a month before they made the change and what did the system look like, and then after it ran a while, here's what like a January to May kind of concept. So what you can do in version 19 is we can now, from a month-to-month concept, we have top job analysis, top user analysis, top accounting codes. In this example, if I wanted to understand why my CPU jumped up, maybe in one application, look at that. I could do a month versus month comparison, and I've got all these metrics that I can compare. Very, very powerful. Just to show you how to do it, the old way, when we did a month versus month, a lot of people didn't even know what was in the product. You'd have to go into a monthly report, go to prior interval, look at the graph. If we had a script going, you'd hit the script button, and then it was a very tedious thing, because if you had a lot of jobs on your system, and I'll give you the alternate life example. I had a capacity plan that when it went live, went belly up. So somebody had picked a peak day a year prior based on the workload at their company. They went to a new power box, went live, and it was a crit set. It was bad. So I was asked to go in and what changed? What was different? So guess what I did? We went back and looked at the month where they picked their peak day and inventoried all their jobs, and then we looked at what they were today, and it was a year apart, and the point of the discussion is I had to go toggle back, 12 times, boom, boom, boom. It got to be a pain. It worked, but there's got to be a better way. So we were able to show why their upgrade didn't go as planned just by doing that month-to-month comparison. So here's an example where we've already made a March 1st date and an April 1st date comparison. Maybe I ran a, month end versus this month end, but look at this. Automatically, when you set your before and after dates, the months come along for the ride. So if you want to make you can literally select any day in May 10th, and that would be your May, your May month. And if you went back to December of the prior year, you can put any one there as well. You can also do, and I'm not going to show it in the demo, but one of the techniques and tricks I always do is just bring up a by month graph, and then you can right click on the month and set that as your before date, do the same thing for your after date, and your months be set as well. So one of the things that I love that we've done in version 19, and this drove me crazy, and especially someone that teaches all the classes all around the world, is we had the same functionality available in 2 different menus with 2 different descriptions. And what I mean by that is, we had the pop-up menu in the middle of the screen, and it would look like this. And then if we went up to the before versus after, we had this menu. I'm like, well, what's that? People were getting confused. I mean, even me working for MPG and doing analysis every day, I just didn't like that. So what we did in 19 is we synchronized the menus. Notice it doesn't matter whether you do the pop-up menu or you're down in the before versus after analysis. Look at that. We've actually gone in there and set that. And I think I actually want to show you a live demo. So the first thing I'm going to show you live, what am I on, slide 98, so I'll remember that. I'm going to go over here and just show you this. So if, let's say I wanted to do let's just make a simple example. So I'm going to do a graph, CPU, job type. I'm going to by time view. So we'll do our little SQL. We'll sync up because I haven't been connected in a while. Allows me to take a drink, unless Murphy's going to get me here. He may be here. Let's see. Okay, thank you, Murphy, for being kind. All right, so let me go up to the date level. Perfect. So I'm going to show you. Here's a good example, right? Right click. Let's make this my after date because it's bad, and I'm going to just go randomly here, set that as my before date, and you can see when I right click in here, I've set my before and after dates, and it's great. But you see how I got June to June per month? So all I have to do, if I want to do a May, kind of a May thing, I go back here, set any day in May, and now look at, I can compare May to June, and I can do all this cool functionality. The trick that I was talking about, that I always go up to the month level. I'll just bring this all the way out. So if I was doing an analysis, let's say I wanted to compare my top CPU jobs, maybe I did something big in the company back on September 2016, right? I could set that as my before date, and I wanted to see the September afterwards, just apples and apples kind of a comparison. And now look at this. September 2016 to 17. And what I mean by synchronization, notice when I'm up here, I've got these compare menus and the same menus under Power Analytics. And look at that. And notice we put the before versus after date here. So if you don't like to set the dates down here, even though that's my preferred method, if you're more a traditional calendar person, watch what you can do. You can go in there and just do a pull down to set your dates. But notice the synchronization of the menus. You see how the compares are the same thing. Same thing that's down here is up there. No more calling things differently. So that's kind of my, I just love the fact that we can, do that. And just make it, when you're looking at menu items, just make it easier to understand what you're analyzing. All right. You guys are being great. So let's keep going. We're almost done, I promise. There's the synchronization. All right. Oh my gosh, COP. So this is, and I just had to say, this is really cool. So here's the concept of COP, create output package. I've created a million reports in my career where I've run report sets or I've done canned stuff, up in Power Analytics, and the stuff's great. But sometimes you just need a report that's just something kind of I call it ad hoc report, where I need to just tell management something. And in the past, I would copy bitmaps. You'd copy the bitmap in PerfNav, and I'd put it in Word or email, and I'd add some comments. And that process was, I said, sometimes a little tedious and probably took more time than I wanted, and maybe it wasn't as professional. Well, the answer is COP. So here's the concept. You can now create what we call an output package. You can modify it once you have one that made, and you can add recommendation and summaries to any report. And it's just a professional output document that you can print out like a PDF and just send it to management or a coworker or a peer or a customer. It does not matter. So how does it work? You have this free-form capability where you're going to bring up any graph or window screenshot, and you're going to add commas to each page. And when it's done, again, you could put a recommendation or summary page at the end of the report if you want to. And again, all of it is HTML that you can print as a PDF. And I'll show you kind of a ebb and flow here. So let's pretend we have a performance metric that suffered after an application change. And I just want to tell my boss that I'm on it. We're looking at it. So look at this. So think about that. My goal isn't to run some Power Analytics big report or a report set. I just want to create a professional report telling my audience, in this case management, hey, I found a problem, I'm on it. So you start it by going to Power Analytics, create output package. And the flow is I just bring up a graph, I save it, I add a comment, like whatever my comment is, and then do I want to add more? Do I have more than one page? And you just do that over and over and over, that iteration, until you've got your ad hoc report done. And when you're done, then it'll say, do you want a summary page where you can, maybe you have bullet points and you just want to say something? If you say no, then you just get your saved stuff before. But you might want to have a summary to say, here's my action plan. So very, very cool. When it's done, you'll get here, you'll see there's here's my dis response. Boy, nice type. I missed my own typo. But there's an example. Maybe I think I did that when I made this. There's an example where if I made this, and I think that's what I did. That's what I'm going with. Here's a typo where response is wrong. I could go back and modify that and fix that comment. So I'm sure that's what I did because I typed so well. Anyway, so there's page 1 where everything looks good. Look at page 2, and you can see on the 9th where the metric, this response time jumped up. And then at the end, look at my summary page. We are meeting with the application team next week. We're running an application stress test, blah, blah, blah. And QA will verify that we're good to go in production. So very, very, like I said, that took me a minute to do, and look how professional that is. So I'm going to do a live demo because I think it's just very cool, and I can just see you guys using this for so many things. So here we go. So let's do, I'm just going to do graph, memory. Let's do total faulting rate just to have some fun here. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Let's pretend, anyway, here's the deal. You start Power Analytics, and you say create output package. So now I'm going to create one, and I'm going to call this demo. So now it says add page 1, position to any graph, save the JPEG, and then click the window or click a window and save it. After that, just press continue. So I'm going to I'll do that again. Memory. In fact, that's a sizing thing. That's just a small bug I noticed the other day. Look and see it was there. So we'll work on that. If you guys get this, do you see how the little fix there is just sized and I'm back? You shouldn't have to do that. We'll fix that. I noticed that when I was testing the other day. But let's say I want to show this picture. Oh my gosh, May Day. What did we do in May and June? So I save the graph, and then I hit continue. Notice in version 19, the continue script button, we put it in 2 spots for you. because people sometimes would miss it over here. We put it over here too. So this is the continue button, and now I could say, notice my high faulting rate. Okay, hit OK. Do you have any more pages? Yes, I do. So on page 2, maybe I'm going to show graph, disk, arm utilization. For whatever reason, I'm just making it up, right? Right? We save it, continue. Notice it keeps my last comment. Notice my disk arm. And again, free form, you can do whatever you want. Hit OK. Do I want to add more? No. Now, do you want to add a summary page? Yes, so I can show it to you. So now these are summary items. I'll just leave the comment right. There's comment 1. Do you have more? Yes. Comment 2. And then I'm done. Do you have any more bullet points? Well, watch how cool this is. So there is the name of my, so this, in version 19, we actually, whatever you call your project, and I call it demo, we show you right there, page 1, there's page 1, page 2, and look at that. And why that's really cool, because you guys can do this. You could right click here, say print, and look how professional that is to give your boss or whoever. So just a really cool ad hoc way to be able to go in. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, I've made this package. How do I go back and do it again? Well, watch this. Maybe I had that typo. So you go in, and I'm going to go Power Analytics, create output package. Do you want to create? No, I'm going to modify. So look how cool this is. The output package demo is the only project created. So right now, it's going to bring up the last report that I had just to show it to you. How cool is that? And then you go in, and then maybe I want to redo a graph. Maybe what graph do I want to do? Number 1. And maybe my comment was off. Notice you can do both. You can change the picture, you can change the comment or whatever. I'll just do the comment and faulting rate, period. Or ellipse, right? Boom. All right, so this, look at this. Now it's smart enough to say, do you want to add a summary page, right? And I say yes. Do you want to use the previous ones? Yes. And do I have any more? So you allow, maybe I thought of something I could add more. I won't. I'll just go from there. So look at this. Made that change. So it's very cool one. And just to show you, I'm going to do another quick one just to show you when you have more than one project. So if I go in here and let's do create output package, I'm going to call this demo 2. And I'm just going to go graph, current day. Maybe I'm doing a problem determination thing, right? And I can go in here and maybe I drill down at 8 in the morning. Well, here's an example where I'm in, look at this. I'm in here. So maybe I'm sorting by CPU. I'm going to save it. Hopefully Murphy won't get me. Watch this. If I hit continue, so I saved it in the window. Let's just do this one. No. I'm going to say no summary page. So look at that. So I was able to save the report, right? A window or a report versus a graph. So look at the flexibility you have in this. And the reason I did that, let's go back into it. If I did another create output package, modify, now look, using the list provided, select the desired. How cool is that? So very, very powerful where you guys can create a library of projects, output things you've sent, change them. And just to show you, if I go back to my original demo, it tells me when it was created, how many pages, and there you go. I think you guys are going to love that. cancel that. So anyway, just wanted to show you that. I think create output package can be used so many ways, and you guys just play with it. I think you're gonna like that. All right, keep going here. We're almost done. Before versus after job runtime analysis. This is a new concept now where we can actually look at before day and after day and compare job runs, and you can see what's going on. Caveat is that it's only if the job has this one start time and one end time. You can't cross boundaries over midnight, and the job is not run multiple times during the day. So here I'm looking at a backup, how my backup ran, and we show you that, and a button where you can click on, and we show you all the start and end times, so you can get a feel for that job. Pretty cool. Before versus after job. I know it's about almost an hour, so I'm going to kind of wrap up here. Before versus after job changes, we now allow you to analyze any period. If you've selected a before date and after date where there's distinct kind of different job profiles, you know, they always didn't start at 8 a.m. Maybe one started at, you know, one ran for a lot of intervals over here and only 3 over here. We kind of notify you that. So we'll, in that case, it's hard to, if someone's trying to do an 8 to 5 analysis, but 2 days don't have 8 to 5 analysis, we tell you that and just show you all intervals. We try to point you in the right direction just to make the analysis right. We now support multiple system comparisons. So imagine that you can compare system A versus system B. So look at, I'm doing ODBC here. Here's an example of a new format. Note the JPEGs and before versus after are now large. Very, very cool. And I think I did that just for my bad eyes. Here's the example for multiple systems comparison. So notice when you compare system A to system B, we actually will compare the system specs and show you differences. Oh, we had less memory over here. We had, you know, more disk, or, you know, whatever. We're on a different OS over here. Here's an example where it'll light up like a Christmas tree when we see distinct differences, right? So if you're comparing performance in one box versus performance in our box, you got to make sure you understand how the specs are. Here's another screenshot of before versus after. Notice I'm looking at system A over here versus system B, and you can see it at the bottom where we're comparing, in this case, total faults on both boxes. Again, here's the multiple system screenshot, right? System A versus system B, and there you go. So, other miscellaneous improvements. This is a little thing, but I know it'll make you guys happy. Sometimes when you're running scripts in 18, you're like, is it running? Is it doing its thing? Because we might be doing a lot of things, right? We might be doing comparing all metrics and then doing job analysis. And, you know, even though the scripts come up fast, you'd like to know where you're at in the process. We have a new status messaging at the bottom. So you'll see things at the bottom when you run things. Should be no more Windows circle, circle, circle only. I hope we've tried to put those status messages every place where you know exactly what's going on. A good example, what's different, right? It's doing metric comparisons, and then it's doing job analysis, and we try to tell you where it's at in the process. Again, we made the JPEGs bigger. I said that was because I'm 56 years old and my eyes are bad. So you'll see that all over in all the top month analysis. You'll see bigger JPEGs. Messaging, I know this is silly. All the messaging, we used to have this giant paragraph look and feel where it was kind of like running, you know, end of this line, and then it would continue in the next line. We made it much cleaner messaging. I know it doesn't probably matter to you guys, but to me, it just looks easier to understand the messaging when you have it nice and clean. Version 19 documentation. We redid the manual. You guys are going to love this. I thought Publisher years ago was going to be such a good thing for a manual and stuff, and I tried to use it, and I've just decided that, you know, there's the old look and feel, here's the new look and feel. You know, Word is just better. So very, very clean manual, and you can see, you guys can download it. It's just a better look and feel, and I think it's going to be easier to understand. We've updated all our YouTube videos, so you can see up here, go out there, we've added a bunch of version 19 stuff. So if you see any documentation and you want to learn stuff, go out to the YouTube videos and try them. Education program, I cannot believe this. It was created 16 years ago, and I've only been with the company 14 years. You guys don't know this, but I help teach this and help make the program 16 years ago when I was at my other job and was taking vacation time to do it. So, so it's been 16 years. I've tried to make improvements in the class. In fact, I'm changing the version 19 class right now to support all the new stuff. So I'm doing that. And right now is a perfect time to take a class because of all the new functionality. I'm convinced it's the best deal in the IT industry, because I know when I was taking classes at IBM, it was, you know, $2,500, $3,000 a person. So if I had when I was tech support manager, you know, I couldn't send 5 people because of the cost. Well, what we do in our education program is, again, I show all real life examples. It's 2.5-day hands-on lab class. You don't want to hear me talk for 2 days. And we travel to you, and look at that, on our dime. So wherever you guys are at, we travel to you, we pick up the travel expenses. And here's the cool thing. You select your education dates based on your availability. I have a master calendar in front of me. I just had someone call me the other day and said, hey, Doug, give me June 26, 27, 28. You got it, right? Maybe your schedule, you guys were doing a production rollout of something, and now you finally have some free time. That's no arbitrary dates. You guys pick it based on your schedule. And look at that, no limit to class attendees. I don't care if you have, I've taught classes with 1 person, I've taught classes with 25. Does not matter to me. You can invite as many people. And that's another thing I'll add. People don't realize that our class is for management, help desk people, operators, systems people, application teams. I taught a team in Philadelphia at a really cool company, and when they saw our comprehensive job analysis, suite of job analysis stuff, the guy's like, oh my God, we can totally do this for QA. We can measure things before they go live. You know, I mean, so application folks don't realize what, I mean, we get down to job analysis and how long the jobs ran, how much more IO is it doing, what are our jobs waiting on. That's the level. So it does not, application folks are such a big part of our class, because I actually have done, I guess I won't quit my day job for my application code, but I was a programmer many years ago, right? It was good to know both sides of the fence from performance management and how applications work. So please, application folks, come to class. You'll love it. And again, the audience could be anybody. We do have a web class. Have I taught it? We do 3 2-hour sessions. But I will tell you this as someone that's taught this all over the world. It's just when you're in a classroom environment where you can see what people are doing and see the blank stare, if you will, like someone's not getting it. Sure, web classes are great. I get it. It's 2018, and we'll do them at MPG. But the comments I've got back from people, and I've had a lot of people tell me, like, yeah, we could have done this over the web, but boy, it'd been hard. It's so much, you know, it's so great. I mean, you flew to us. It was yours. You know, we made the schedule. It just worked out better for them. All right. So what I'm offering, classes are scheduled first come, first serve. The normal price is $3,500. I'm offering this today. If you guys sign up for a class by August 1st, we're going to apply a 20% discount. So obviously we're going to fly to you. We're going to have as many people in class as you want. We're going to analyze your systems as part of the class, and we're going to do it for a song. So $2,800 for a person to fly to you, and you get to pick the dates and have as many people. I'm telling you, I know it from being in the industry for 30 plus years. That's a great deal. All right, one more last thing and we're done. Capacity planning with MPG and IBM. I get asked this from customers. We have you simply need to ask your business partner to engage with us. They'll click here, and then they'll come in and they'll do capacity planning, and it'll involve you guys sending your SOS data to them. They might send it to us, MPG. We might do it directly, but the key is just simply, you know, funded by IBM now, so a lot of business partners simply just have to engage in that process. They're actually having this presentation tomorrow, a little modified for business partners, but they're going to see all this new functionality as well, and the like. So with that, we'll take a couple moments for questions. It's literally just a little over an hour that we started, so it's perfect timing. I'm going to go down here and see if I can see any questions. And send me emails too. Again, this will be recorded. If your question doesn't get answered, you can certainly email me and I'll answer your question live. All right, let's see what I got here. Hang here. Trying to get my little GoToMeeting thing to work here. Right now I'm kind of fighting the webinar interface here. I'm just trying to open the window. The window's not really. It says, all right, let's see if I can get this. Instead of job names such as OWBC, where user shows as Q user, can you add current user information so we know what the actual user is? That's such a tough one because the way the collection services works, when it writes out the last interval, it's the last person that was in that interval. So you're right. That's the hardest thing about OWBC is you kind of have to go in the log and see what was going on for that, for that person, that person's actual session that they were using. So it's not that easy. But at least in version 19, we give you the top users. So if you have a more granular list of people, you'll see it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to undock this. I'll tell you. Oh, I did. I got it undocked. All right. Let's see if I can. I apologize for the delay. I'm just trying to. All right. I got the window open finally enough where I can read the questions. It was a pain. I'll have to talk to GoToWebinar. So I can read this. So are there any improvements with web server reporting like posting to web or navigation? Good question. I guess the way I would answer that is, why don't you email me when I get these kind of questions, give me specifics what you're looking for. The beauty of our product is, I say this to everybody, if we've got the data, we can show it. So if you can give me exact things that you're looking for, if we don't have it in a script, we can make it. And in the worst case, we can make it a graph. So I hope that answers that. I'm running version 18 now. Do I need a revised license key to run 19? Absolutely. So just call Diane here and give them your serial number, and we will give you new keys. And I think is there a GUI interface for Mac? I know Randy Watson uses a Windows kind of emulator. I don't know if I'm using the right word. He runs PerfNav on his Mac, so you can. I'll answer the question. You can definitely run it on a Mac, so like a Windows emulation kind of thing. Are there reports or metrics for SQL performance? Good question. We're not an application product where you're getting on for SQL. There are other products out there that do that. But the way I like to answer that too is we can at least get you close, right? We can at least see, jobs and weight buckets and that kind of level. But no, we don't look at SQL performance. Is this performance? Oh, is this performance? Hey, performance. Is this presentation available for review after this session? Absolutely. As soon as I stop, I will. We're going to put it on by the end of day today. We'll put it on the web. And I think that's it. Let me see. One last question. We have almost 10 years of MPG history. That's cool. And by the way, I think you've got out of this, or if you guys are new to the product, the power of that historical data is key. But the question is, can the training use our data? Normally what I like when I go to a site, having your guys' own, thank you for the offer, but people, when they see their own data in a class, it's the best. right? I can show you MPG data all day long, but when you see your own ebb and flow of your own data, that's the best. I think that's it, guys. Thank you for the patience. That long, I mean, 134 pages, but a lot in version 19. So I appreciate your patience. I know a lot of you guys hung in there still to see the whole thing. So thank you. We love you guys as customers. I cannot believe how blessed I am to get to see you guys at conferences and classes and talking on support calls. Keep those ideas coming. I say it every day that the best ideas come from you guys in the trenches, and just keep them coming. If there's any problems you're having with version 19 or anything that we can do to make it better, i.e. the other day, the secure ODBC literally was a phone call, a support call, and we put it out there immediately. Do it. So anyway, thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you guys soon.